is 3 for Cyclonespin in the 6th berry that extends the set to 4.
I mean, we started playing with each other back in season 1 on Fat Chunks, but he played solo lane back then, so we didn't dual lane. But I've just known him for a very long time. He understands like how he wants to play, and he understands how I want to play the game, and it just makes both of our lives really easy.
Cyclonespin, in my opinion, just one of the best Smite players we've ever seen. Whether that's solo lane or ADC, I think he's always played at the highest level.
Whenever I think about Cyclonespin, for some reason I still think of him as a solo laner. The gap between him and other solo laners was so massive compared to like, he's still really top of the team, like he's top as an ADC, but everybody's kind of brought themselves up to that level. But early days in Smite, there were like kind of just, oh, this one player and then the rest of the league. Like there were a few characters, like I think Adapting was like that in season 2 and season 3. Cyclone, in my opinion, in solo lane was the same way.
It's like Cyclone's kind of Adapting-esque in terms of his calculations, you know. He won't really make a mistake. He will play defensive when he needs to. And he will just go and take his jungler speed if he has to as well to keep up and farm. But I also think Cyclone is a guy where if he gets his gods, you know he's got his god, because he will show you in game that he has his best god and he's confident and he will run it down, he will pop off in team fights and he will carry a game.
He doesn't make mistakes. He's kind of a robot like when he plays. Like it's so hard. I think he's probably the hardest ADC to out farm. Somehow, magically, he finds farm. You know what I mean? I always look at replays like, is he taking the jungler speed buff? Like, what is he doing? Right? I'm about to take my jungler speed buff just to like match him in farm. So I would say that he's one of the most intelligent players I've played against. He knows his limits. And the most important thing that any dual laner can have or any carry can have is he knows how to farm, right? Everyone's just trying to farm in mid or ADC, right? And I would say that's one of his best strengths.
He is a mid-maxer player where he will also dictate other players on what they have to do, which again, that's what I've talked about with like other support players that they do. But Sabin being a backliner, that does make the job of the other backliner or other people's games way easier because he will just control you on what you have to do. And that as a backliner is actually really good because you can utilize that, especially as Spin himself, where he can utilize that info that he's giving and what somebody has to do, and he'll just carry team fights off of that, or like Paul will carry team fights off of that.
He's always had really good comms, like as people seen in the listen-ins. Those have improved like tenfold as well from back then. Like he was good back then, but he's like on another level now with that. And then just him, he's a player that he's gonna do his job no matter what you give him. If you don't give him a lot of farm, he's gonna find a way to have an impact on the game no matter what, which is awesome to have on a team.
These people really think I farm well. That's all I got from this. But I think that's like not that true. Like for the time, I was a better solo laner, but that's just because the gap between like a top player back then, like the average pro player was like massive compared to now. We're feeling great. Scrims have been going fine. Yeah, scrims have just been going fine.